about Iggy, huh? Doing a great job for us. Can we get the lights down just a touch? I want to focus on some of the, what should I talk about? Penguins, yeah? Can I do it? If you've got a little bit of a leftover cold, you know, a little hoarse, right? It helps, yeah? I'm not gonna, you know, luckily I don't smell like a penguin. Gen 2 penguins, yeah? Gen 2. We had one lone chin strap, came over from Half Moon, said, why didn't you come to my island? We said, that's a little windy. So we're gonna be over here at Yankee Harbor. Fantastic place. This is an aerial photo. Anybody recognize? Yeah, a little landing area here, Yankee Harbor. But one of the things, I put this up, I took this 11, 12 years ago, or no, 22 years ago, by a helicopter, slides. And one of the things I noticed is this glacier is gone back there. This is like a little spit of land, and these glaciers are, you know, retreating. And we'll talk about it a little later. So here's the spit that we did, landing right in here. And this was taken from a helicopter. I'm not that tall. And of course, we had some penguins up here on the cliff areas there, the side there. And we walked along this area down below for the Gen 2s, a perfect spot for our first landing, a great spot with scenery and good weather as well. So I remember, well, I don't remember to tell you the truth, 22 years ago, we landed later on and came ashore and counted all these. I think it's somewhere around 2,000 pairs of Gen 2 penguins in there. So if you didn't see a Gen 2 penguin today and went ashore, you need to see the doctor, okay? And get, you know, get something going there, okay? Now, one of the things that everybody asked was, what are all the white streaks and what are the pink streaks? White poop equals fish, and pink poop equals krill. I took this a long time ago and I was waiting. I'm like, can you just finish the clock there and I can get the whole thing going? But lots of fish in this diet, lots of krill today. I know there were humpbacks in the area. We saw whales all day yesterday on the approach. The krill looks like it's doing really well. Gen 2s will dive a little more deeply. And they will take fish if they can't find krill, but it looks like a lot of krill poop out there in the world. Now, here was the big thing. Everybody's like, what are they doing with the pebbles, right? So we know they need the nests, right? They need the nests to elevate them up off of the ground in case it snows to keep them dry. And then the mates were coming back and saying hello to their other mate, and it was both males and females on there, both males and females at this time, changing the nesting duties or changing the guarding of the chick duties. And as soon as they switch the nest, they will get off and sometimes grab pebbles, or they'll walk up and say, how you doing? I'm fine, honey, thank you, go get some pebbles. So the penguin goes, where does it go? Not right there next to it to grab the pebble. He goes, yeah, you know, I kind of remember some pebbles all the way over there. So he goes all the way over there, and then grabs a pebble and it comes back. But did you see some of them grab the tiniest little pebble? I told you, they do amazing things, but they're not that bright, right? So they go all over this giant pile and they go, I think I'll take that little tiny thing and bring it back. And so you can hear the mate going, oh, you know? So, I don't know. And they forget what they're doing. Did you see that? They were walking along and I'm gonna go get a pebble, and then they get a pebble and they stop and they go, what was that? Oh yeah, I was gonna get a pebble. And then they go, oh, wow, you guys are really big, you know, and they looked at us. I think they wonder what kind of krill we eat to get so big and orange, I'm not sure. But anyway, that's nest, keep those eggs dry, lift that up there, get them dry. The penguin keeps the eggs warm, and the nest keep the eggs dry because it can snow big time in the Shetlands. Really, it could snow 1-2 feet, half a meter easily overnight in the springtime, and it often does. And when that all melts around, you want to have a lot of pebbles in that nest. When they greet each other, now that you are all Gen 2 penguin experts, I want you to listen, stop with the pictures, and listen, because when they come up to greet each other, they go, here's my little bitty pebble, and then they go, they actually do this little to each other. I have no idea what it means. It's like, yeah, mutual display. It's great. Thank you for the pebble. Next time, get a bigger one. So, and then we had the chicks popping out. My gosh, I told lots of you on shore, 1 year ago exactly today, we saw how many chicks? One chick. So by fortune, good fortune, I think, there was a little bit less snow. I think the penguins had less snow to battle with. and they got their nests going a little bit early, so they're about 8 or 9 days early, and that afforded us to see the little bobbleheads. Now, it's 33 to 34 days of incubation, and it takes 2 days between the eggs for the female. So they're now into the incubation of 35 to 37 days. So those guys are popping out. But you have to backtrack another 3 weeks for the arrival time for the males and females, because then there's courting and mating and then egg laying. So now we're already 7 weeks into these guys coming here. And some of those guys were on the high cliffs on the sides there because that's wind-blown area. You know, everybody's like, why do they climb all the way up there? If you swim 100 miles for lunch, you can climb up that little hill. You know, they're out there going, they go, okay, up the hill. And then back and forth and back and forth. But we got really lucky to see some eggs in there with the chicks. When they're just a day old, you can still see the egg tooth on that, just pecked out. When they're 1 day old, their neck muscles aren't strong enough, so they're like, oh, okay. And then when they're by day 2, they start to actually eat the food that's regurgitated from the parents. And so they're fed very, very quickly. They grow very, very quickly. And the black on the top of the head, the gray body as well. And in about 5 days, 6 days, they're going to be this big. They're already like going on. Mom and dad are like, okay, pretty good feeding. And sometimes there's not even enough room, and they're all falling around on the side. It's like, oh, packed in under there. We did have some skuas coming in there, coming in to get eggs and chicks. You saw some predation, right? Go predator, right? Everybody loves to see the predator, but you don't want to see them eat, right? When you go to Africa, what do you want to get? The predators. No. Skuas are part of the system there, and they're going in for their eggs, and they actually took one, I'm laughing, I shouldn't laugh, but they actually took one tiny little 1 day old chick. Kirsty was like, look, this one just hatched, and the skua goes, boom, and dropped it down. But no, you gotta remember the skuas, very smart, very long-lived. They live 35 years, some of those skuas, and they work in tandem, sometimes males and females. One of them will pull the tail and talk bad about their mother, and then they turn around and grab the egg, grab the chick, and then they fly away with the egg, drop it, and then they go ahead and eat out the yolk or the tiny little chickie that's in there. But look at the skua chicks. They're cute, right? You guys hate skuas. It's not good. Skuas are awesome. They're absolutely amazing. They're so intelligent. And then some of the predators, later on in the season, you get leopard seals taking them. Everybody's like, what eats the gentoo? I'm like, well, you get leopard seals out there sometimes. Here's a shot of a leopard seal. The gentoo in its mouth. Yeah. This is later on. So you need to book another cruise a little bit later in the season. You can see some predation. I know you love it. And then a couple of times we've had orca in the area. And we've got our little zodiacs out there. And when there's no pack ice, when there's no ice for a penguin to jump out of, they jump into the zodiac if there's an orca. And it's like, oh, okay. And all of a sudden, if you're in your zodiac and a penguin jumps in, look around. There might be an orca coming at you. All right, guys, more penguins as we head into tomorrow and the next days. We'll see lots more penguins. Thank you, everybody, for your great questions.